On this week's KSP News Show. In the first news show for a while, we go over the new extended KSP help system, KSPedia. And with the recent release of Unity 5.2, KSP looks to be getting even more optimization tweaks. All that and more on this week's belated, admittedly, KSP News Show. Reporting live from the Kerbal Space Center, it's your host, Jinli Kerman. Good morning, evening and afternoon, my fellow Kerbonauts. My name is Jinli Kerman. Welcome back to the KSP News Show. This show is sort of out of place when compared to ones I've done in the past, maybe. Personally, because this is either going to go out on the Monday night or Tuesday. I don't know when this is going out. It's going out at some point in the next 2 days as of recording this. But also, this is the first show for a while. Now, that is because, with regards to actual KSP news, not all that much has been happening since the last time I actually produced an episode. There has been a few developments, which is what I'm going to be talking about in this episode, but for the most part there hasn't been all that much news with regards to actual meaty, like new parts, new features, etc, etc. It's more just about optimization, and I think that's mainly the focus of 1.1, is to get KSP running buttery smooth. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this episode, but before I do actually start, I do want to say now that I have a Patreon account. Now, I've been wanting to refrain from actually creating a Patreon account for God knows how long, but I think my channel has reached the point now where, without expanding my borders out of KSP and doing other games as well as KSP, I feel like I can't really appeal to the audience that I really want to appeal fully, if you know what I mean. And in order to expand my horizons of the channel, I'm gonna need a better computer, and that's what the Patreon money will be going towards. More details will be in the Patreon link, which I will leave in I will leave a link in the description of the video, and there will also be a link in the channel banner and the channel art of my channel if you actually want to go and donate there. It's 100% optional. I don't expect any of you guys to actually go and donate. If you don't want to, I'm completely okay with that. You don't have to if you don't want to. You guys are still awesome just for supporting me and just subscribing, commenting, liking, whatever. But if you want to go the extra mile and you want to actually pledge money towards my channel, like I say, 100% of the money I will get will be reinvested into the channel, and I'm going to try and think of some cool rewards that I can give. So if any of you guys can think of any cool rewards that I could perhaps give to patrons, then do leave them in the comments down below. But yeah, I think that's pretty much enough about the channel for now. Let's just ramble on about the news now, because everyone wanted to come here for the news. Yeah! And so yes, on to the first news story for today, and this is regarding a new system known as KSPedia. In last week's dev notes, which will probably be a bit outdated by the time this video goes up, just purely because of timing, it says, somewhere in a dark and no doubt rainy corner of the United Kingdom, which I can confirm as completely true, Mike, otherwise known as MU, has been working on improving the game experience for beginners and more advanced players alike. He has been developing a framework system codenamed KSPedia, trademark 2015, Mike's friend Josh, which will be able to develop a much improved and extended help system in Kerbal Space Program. The framework will also be open to modders so that mods can take full advantage of it. Modders will be able to add pages consisting of any native Unity user interface system via asset bundles. This all means that this system is versatile enough to include a wide range of content such as animations and movies. One area that KSPedia will focus on is the non-obvious key bindings in the game. Many people discover them quite late or not at all. Think of things such as the Alt right click to transfer fuel, or pressing F while using the offset tool to toggle absolute and relative position. Now, as someone who has friends who are just starting to get into KSP now after I've recommended it to them, This system needs improving at the moment in KSP, because at the moment if you're stuck you have to physically go onto YouTube and find tutorials, usually from Scott Manley or another YouTuber similar to him, and you have to find out manually how to do all this sort of stuff. And some of the key bindings and stuff, particularly how to transfer fuel and the like, you never really find out where they are in the menu. You have to, like they say in the article, discover them yourself, or you hear about them or see them done on screen, ask in the comments section of a video, and someone tells you how to do it. Either that, or you have to go into the KSP wiki, which is always an experience, let's be honest, because you can hardly find anything on Wikipedia, let alone useful information, shall I say. That's my opinion anyway. You guys may be a little bit different with your opinion, but I think personally having all the help that you need for KSP in one convenient site, be it for videos, different mods, installing and stuff like that, it really helps like new players get into the game, and that's, I guess, the whole point of KSPedia. It means that if you have a mod or you just want to find something out about the vanilla game, you can simply look it up on KSPedia and you can find out all about it, and you can see where you're going wrong, where you can find out how to do all these cool key binding and stuff, which, to be honest, until very recently, even I didn't know exists, to be honest, and I've been playing the game for nearly a year and a half now, which is kind of odd to think about. I still didn't know that these things even existed. But yeah, I really think that this is going to help new players get into the game a little bit more, and especially with the release of the console versions coming up, I think that this is going to be invaluable with getting those guys started, particularly if they've never played KSP before, like ever. Let's just say they heard about it and heard it was pretty cool, so downloaded it and had no idea what was going on with it. They could get started nice and easily, and they could join in the fun with the rest of us who've been playing it for years and eons and stuff like that. But let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you think of this. Do you think it's a good idea? Personally, I think it's nothing but a good idea. Let me know, do you think modders will take full advantage of this, or do you think that they won't really bother? They'll just stick to the home pages on Curse and the forums or what have you. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I am really interested to hear your responses. But we're going to move on to the next news story for today now, about Unity 5.2. And so yes, one of the main reasons as to why there hasn't been all that much KSP news in the past couple of weeks or so is because that the Kerbal Space Program developers have been in the process of porting Kerbal Space Program over to the new Unity 5 engine. This was made a little bit more complicated by the fact of Unity 5.1 being released a few weeks ago with a load of new features which basically broke some of the code that KSP was using, and so they had to port it all across again to 5.1, and now slowing it down even more is the release of 5.2. But this does bring some benefits to the game, as is stated in this week's, or I suppose last week's by now, dev notes. It says, slowing development down even further was the sudden release of Unity 5.2 last week, which holds some interesting upgrades for the user interface system. The rendering of the user interface is now done in parallel with scene geometry on a separate thread, which would mean yet more increases in performance for KSP. Of course, no update will happen without a few small issues, and sure enough, the update to Unity 5.2 broke some earlier user interface elements, so we had to adjust some code on various levels to fix them again. It took some time, but now everything is working again, and we're continuing development of 1.1 on Unity 5.2. And so, like I say, there isn't really all that much to go on here in terms of elaboration. It just means that KSP is going to be running even smoother than it already was on 1.1. We all know, everyone who's played KSP, regardless of what system you actually do play it on, is that it is an intensive game to run, despite the somewhat subpar graphics, because, well, stock graphics and everything. KSP isn't like breaking any boundaries for visual fidelity. It can look beautiful at sometimes, don't get me wrong, it can be a very beautiful game, but in terms of actual texture quality and stuff like that, it's not going to win any records whatsoever, which makes it even more like prominent that when the game runs really terribly, even on higher end systems, it does sort of show that there is a lot of optimization to be done, and that's what's happening in 1.1. The devs are making sure that KSP is going to run as smooth as it possibly can, and so this can be nothing but a good thing, and particularly the fact that they are overhauling the UI a lot. I think this is definitely a very good change, because if any of you have actually used the UI in KSP, which obviously you have because that's how you play the damn game, you know that sometimes buttons don't press when you actually press them and everything, and it's just generally a little bit buggy from time to time, especially with the patched conics and what have you. But this new update with 1.1, it's going to hopefully fix all of these issues, or at least reduce them somewhat, and it will mean that playing KSP is going to be an overall more enjoyable experience for all. Personally, I think that these two stories that I've covered today, although they're very, very small, I think they're nothing but a positive thing for the game in the long run. But I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. As usual, let me know what you think of these changes. Personally, I think they're nothing but a good thing, but you guys may feel differently. But that's pretty much going to round it off for this episode, guys. Sorry if it really didn't lack all that much substance, because, well, let's be honest, it really hasn't had all that much substance, to be fair. I haven't really had much to go on, hence why I haven't actually been producing a KSP news episode every week for the past few weeks. Plus, I've had college, which has hit me like an absolute truck, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. Like I say, sorry I haven't been uploading as much as I possibly could, because I've had college and what have you and work, and it's all just bundled together, and it means that I've had hardly any time to actually make videos. I'm trying my best that I can actually put out videos on a regular-ish basis, but for now it's kind of when I can at the moment. It's my upload schedule is kind of all over the place. But hopefully I'll be able to get back to making regular KSP news videos once some actual decent KSP news comes out onto the pipeline for me to report on. But like I say, that's pretty much going to round it off for this episode, guys. Remember to like and subscribe for more. My name is Jinley Kerman, and as always, stay classy.